Can you tell me your name, please?
Beverly.
And what job do you do?
I'm a nurse, ward manager.
Okay. Could you tell me a little bit about yourself and the job that you do?
Myself, I'm a registered mental health nurse. I work in Slum, that is South London, on the Maudsley NHS Trust. And I worked with people with mental health problems, enduring mental health problems, who go through a lot of stress, strain, everyday society, whereby they becomes very depressed and find it very difficult at times to cope with. So we do a lot of one-to-one session and lots of work to get them back into society. But it can be very, very stressful at times to deal with those people.
So do these people, do they come in on a day-to-day basis, or do they stay overnight?
It varies with the individual. Sometimes you may have people who have problems whereby they probably go out, especially at the weekend, and they probably drink a lot and create a lot of problem, and whereby they may come in for just one night and they go. But my job is, I do more like a rehabilitation. I rehabilitate people who is more long stay in the hospital, who probably in the hospital for some time, relapse in the hospital, whereby they don't, you would say, they lost their daily skills, their daily living skills, yes, and they cannot cope with the everyday society, whereby go back to work, look after their children. So actually I have to be there helping them back to regain their skill back into the community, whereby simple little thing like going shopping, those are daily living skills where myself and you would be able to do. They find it extremely difficult because of the illness that they have. So you have to really retrain them again to how to go back to shopping, to buy the daily little thing like food, etc., etc. Some of them find it very difficult even to budget. You have to teach them again how to budget, because they may have just a little money, but you have to say the important thing that you have to look at first, your food, your heating, these sort of things. Some of them may find it very difficult to mix, to integrate with people, so you have to try to teach them social skill, whereby they gain their little skills back to mix with people, to socialize with people. So those are the tasks that we have to really reteach them to go back into the community to live. So it can be very stressful at times.
Why did you decide to do this job?
Why did I try why do I choose to go to this job is because I find back home we have quite a lot of people who suffer with mental health problems, and I didn't see whereby people have time to spend with these individual people. So what I choose now, when I came into nursing, I said, I find I was able to deal with people with mental health in a little bit of a way, because I see what it was like back home in my country where I come from, whereby people didn't have time, they just sort of write them off. And I think that people in today's society, there's more to them more than people just write them off. So spend more time to sort of get to know why they became ill, because myself and you, any one of us can become ill at any time because of today's society. It's very, very stressful. You have children, you don't have that family network to help you. So those sort of things. And I said, you know what, that is having you that I really want to go in, because I felt as if I have more to do to help with these people to regain their skill back into society.
What conditions do you generally deal with?
There's quite a bit, vast majority. People with learning difficulties, Not mostly learning difficulties now. I've sort of branched out from that. But people with challenging behavior, very depressed mood, these sort of different client group. Even drug addict, drug and alcoholic as well was one of the area that I used to work in, but I'm not working in there now. And those are very, very stressful area that you have to work in as well.
Mm-hmm. And when you say stressful, how do you mean?
What, in my job?
Yeah.
Because it's sometimes the case can be quite complex case whereby it's not just one thing you're dealing with. You're dealing with people with mental health, plus you deal with people with drugs and alcohol, and mixing the 2 or 3 together, it can be extremely stressful how you're going to deal with that. You look, because what affects people mentally, it affects them physically too, vice versa. So a person with mental health problem, sometimes it affects them physically as well, you know, because there's physical problem occur in it, especially when you drink alcohol, etc., etc. There's a lot of physical problems associated with it. So it is very, very stressful, because when they come with all of these difficult cases, how you have to differentiate, and how, because you have to have speciality to deal with these people as well, whereby you have to refer them to the appropriate services to deal with that case. So it can be very stressful. Which area you're going to deal with first? Is it the mental health? Is it the drugs? Is it whatever, the alcohol, etc.? So it can be very, very stressful at times for you. And you're working into an environment whereby there's not enough resources out there for you to work with. That put a lot of pressure on us itself, because you have one person working like 2 and 3 person job. So it put a lot of strain on you as well, and whereby you have to prioritize the important thing, which way all of them are important, but sometimes because the resources is not there, you have to say, right, this is the only one I can deal with right now.
What medications do you use?
It all depends on the actual illness of that person that you're dealing with. If you're dealing with a person who is depressed, you think of some antidepressant tablets to give that individual. If a person who is very psychotic, you'll be looking at antipsychotic medication, etc., etc. The person who come in on the, you know, using a lot of alcohol, you'll be think of Valium and different things to sort of help them to reduce their anxiety, etc. And people in the drugs field, there's other different things that you have to use, morphine, I can't remember. There's other things that you use to help those people to reduce the symptoms, but it can be difficult, especially with the drug dependency client. Mm-hmm. And then you have the speciality as well, area where they do a lot of one-to-ones, because sometimes it's more psychologically, whereby they want somebody to sit down, and it's a lot of group whereby it's there for them to help them. Like you have self-help group whereby people will sit and discuss the problem that they go through, how they cope with it, and they learn from each other. So you have that group as well that they can sit down and get support from.